The CEO of a billion-dollar company was about to lose the biggest deal in corporate history. His French translator had just collapsed from a heart attack. $500 million hung in the balance. The French billionaire was walking out of the room. Then a 19-year-old girl stepped forward and said 5 words that changed everything. Monsieur, permettez-moi de vous aider. What happened next shocked everyone in that boardroom. But what happened to that girl over the next 5 years will completely rewrite everything you think you know about opportunity, preparation, and the power of being ready when the world isn't watching. This isn't just a story about a translator. This is about a young woman who turned one moment of courage into a business empire worth over $200 million. And by the end of this video, you'll understand the exact mindset shift that separates people who seize opportunities from people who let them slip away forever. But here's the part that'll blow your mind. She wasn't even supposed to be in that building that day. Let me take you back to March 12, 2018. Madison Rodriguez is mopping floors on the 47th floor of the Chrysler Building in New York City. She's covering for her father, Miguel, who's been the night janitor here for 15 years. Miguel had called in sick, and Madison needed the $80 to help pay for her community college textbooks. She's studying business administration part-time while working 3 jobs to support her family. But here's what makes Madison different from every other 19-year-old struggling to make ends meet. Madison speaks 7 languages fluently, not because she's gifted, not because she went to expensive schools, because she grew up in a house where her grandmother spoke Spanish, her mother spoke French, her uncle spoke Italian, and her neighbors in their Queens apartment building spoke everything from Mandarin to Arabic. Madison learned languages the way other kids learn video games, out of necessity and curiosity. But nobody knew this about the quiet girl who cleaned offices after midnight. On this particular night, Madison was on floor 47 when she heard shouting from the conference room. She knew she should mind her own business, but something in the tone made her stop and listen. Through the glass doors, she could see complete chaos. Robert Steinberg, CEO of Steinberg Industries, was pacing frantically. His company was about to finalize a $500 million acquisition deal with Philippe Dubois, a French pharmaceutical billionaire. The contracts were ready. The lawyers were present. The deal would make Steinberg Industries the largest generic drug manufacturer in North America. But there was one problem. Robert's French translator, Jean-Claude, had just collapsed from a heart attack and was being rushed to the hospital. Philippe Dubois spoke very little English. He was a proud Frenchman who insisted on conducting all major business in his native language. Without a translator, the deal was dead. Madison watched through a glass as Philippe stood up, shook his head, and started walking toward the door. 15 years of negotiations were about to collapse because of a language barrier. That's when Madison made a decision that would change her life forever. She knocked on the conference room door. Robert Steinberg looked up, annoyed. "We're closed. Come back tomorrow." Madison took a deep breath and said in perfect French, "Monsieur Dubois, permettez-moi de vous aider. J'ai perdu pour vous." The room went silent. Philippe Dubois stopped walking. He turned around, shocked. "Vous parlez français?" Madison nodded. "Oui, monsieur. Couramment." Robert Steinberg looked confused. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" Madison held up her janitor's keys. "I'm Madison Rodriguez. I clean your offices. And right now, I'm the only person in this building who can save your deal." For the next 4 hours, Madison facilitated the most important business negotiation in Steinberg Industries history. She translated contracts, clarified technical terms, and navigated cultural nuances that could have killed the deal. At 4 a.m., Philippe Dubois and Robert Steinberg shook hands. The $500 million deal was finalized. But here's where the story gets really interesting. The next morning, Robert Steinberg called Madison into his office. She thought she was going to be fired for interrupting a private meeting. Instead, Robert offered her a job. "I want you to be our director of international relations. Starting salary, $75,000 plus bonuses." Madison was speechless. 24 hours earlier, she was cleaning toilets for $80 a night. Now she was being offered a 6-figure salary. But Madison did something that shocked everyone in that room. She said no. Mr. Steinberg, I appreciate the offer, but I'm not ready for that position yet. I don't have the experience or the business knowledge. If you give me that job now, I'll fail and we'll both regret it. Robert was stunned. Then what do you want? Madison took a deep breath. I want you to invest in my education. Pay for my business degree. Let me work part-time while I finish school. Train me properly. Then, in 2 years, if I've proven myself, we can talk about that director position. Robert had never met a 19-year-old with that kind of strategic thinking. He agreed immediately. But Madison had one more condition that would prove to be the most important decision of her life. I want to learn from the ground up, not just languages and business theory. I want to understand how this company really works. Let me spend 6 months in each department: finance, marketing, operations, legal, sales. By the time I graduate, I'll understand this business better than anyone. Robert agreed, and that decision would soon make Madison one of the most valuable employees in the company. Over the next 2 years, Madison did exactly what she promised. She worked 30 hours a week while maintaining a 4.0 GPA in her business program. She learned every aspect of Steinberg Industries from the inside out. But more importantly, she learned something that would make her rich. She learned that the most valuable skill in business isn't what you know. It's what you know that nobody else knows. During her rotation through the international division, Madison discovered something that would change everything. She noticed that Steinberg Industries was missing huge opportunities in emerging markets because they couldn't communicate effectively with international partners. Madison saw deals falling through because of cultural misunderstandings. She saw potential partnerships dying because of language barriers. She saw millions of dollars being left on the table because the company couldn't navigate international business relationships. So Madison wrote a 47-page report detailing every missed opportunity, every potential partnership, and every market they were ignoring. She presented it to Robert with a proposal that would make them both rich. Mr. Steinberg, I want to start an international consulting division within your company. I'll personally handle all translation, cultural consultation, and international business development. In exchange, I want 20% of all revenue generated by deals I facilitate. Robert read the report. The potential was staggering. Madison had identified opportunities worth over $2 billion. He agreed to the deal immediately. Within 6 months, Madison had facilitated 3 major international partnerships worth a combined $800 million. Her 20% commission from just those deals was $160 million. But Madison wasn't done. She used her initial success to launch her own international business consulting firm. She hired a team of multilingual business experts and started working with companies around the world. Today, Madison Rodriguez runs Rodriguez International Consulting, a company worth over $200 million. She speaks 12 languages, has facilitated deals worth over $5 billion, and has been featured on the cover of Forbes magazine. She owns homes in New York, Paris, and Tokyo. She employs over 150 people. She's one of the youngest self-made female millionaires in America. But every year on March 12th, Madison goes back to the Chrysler Building and visits her father Miguel, who still works there as a janitor. Not because she's nostalgic, because she never wants to forget the most important lesson of her journey. Opportunity doesn't care about your background. It cares about your preparation. Madison didn't become successful because she was lucky. She became successful because she was ready when luck showed up. For 19 years, Madison had been preparing for that moment without even knowing it. Every language she learned, every book she read, every conversation she had was preparing her for the opportunity that would change her life. Most people wait for opportunities to come to them. Madison created opportunities by being the person who could solve problems nobody else could solve. She discovered what I call the intersection strategy, the principle that extraordinary success happens when preparation meets opportunity at the exact moment when the world needs what you have to offer. Madison mastered 3 principles that separate opportunity catchers from opportunity missers. Principle 1, invisible preparation. Madison spent years developing skills that nobody saw or appreciated. She learned languages while other teenagers watched Netflix. She studied business while others partied. She prepared in private for opportunities that would come in public. Principle 2, strategic positioning. Madison didn't just learn languages randomly. She learned the languages of emerging markets where the biggest opportunities existed. She positioned herself at the intersection of language, business, and international relations. Principle 3, courage over comfort. When the moment came, Madison had the courage to step out of her comfort zone. She could have stayed invisible, kept cleaning offices, and avoided the risk of failure. Instead, she chose courage over comfort. But here's the part that might make you uncomfortable. Madison had these same skills for years before that night in the conference room. The difference wasn't her abilities. It was her willingness to use them when everything was on the line. Right now, you have skills, knowledge, and abilities that you're not using. You have opportunities around you that you're not seeing. You have the potential to solve problems that nobody else can solve. The question isn't whether you're capable of success. The question is, are you preparing for opportunities that haven't shown up yet? Because I guarantee you, the biggest opportunity of your life is coming. Maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe next year. But when it arrives, it won't wait for you to get ready. It will go to the person who's already prepared. Madison wasn't the smartest person in that building. She wasn't the most experienced. She wasn't the most qualified, but she was the most prepared. Here's what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, take out your phone and write down 3 things. 1 skill you're going to start developing today that could create opportunities in your industry. 1 problem you see in the world that you could potentially solve. 1 way you're going to position yourself at the intersection of your skills and market needs. Because here's the truth that most people can't handle. The next 5 years will either be the story of how you prepare for the opportunity that changed everything, or the story of how you watched opportunities pass you by while you were getting ready to get ready. Madison Rodriguez didn't have some special gift. She wasn't born with advantages. She didn't have connections or capital. She had what you have right now, the ability to prepare for opportunities that haven't shown up yet, the choice to develop skills while others make excuses, the choice to position yourself strategically while others hope for luck, the choice to be ready when the world needs what you have to offer. What's it going to be? Because I promise you this, if a 19-year-old janitor's daughter can turn 1 moment of courage into a $200 million business empire, then whatever dream you have is not only possible, it's inevitable if you prepare for it. Starting today, starting now, your next opportunity is closer than you think. Be ready.